Hello and welcome to this video series on the Gimp 2.4. Now in this video we're going to be covering the bucket fill tool, which is basically a way in which you can add colors or different patterns to the image that you're working with. And I've touched a little bit on this in a prior video, but just kind of going over this real quick here. Here are the fill type, and you can toggle back and forth using the control and or shift key on your keyboard. But this is the foreground, that's the background, or the pattern fill. And the foreground is this color, this is the background color here, and the available pattern fill is this guy or this, and they're the same thing. Now then, we've got a lot of modes where we can choose from: normal, dissolve, divide, screen, overlay, dodge, burn, so on. But let's go ahead and show it to you from the normal view. Foreground color fill, which is going to be blue, and we're going to pick similar colors. So everything that I'm touching right now that is red, it's going to change colors to the foreground. Likewise with this one or this one. I'll hit my Control Z to back out of these changes here. Try this one. Now the reason why I chose white here, but the reason why the rest of this white did not change colors is because it was not contiguous with this. In other words, it wasn't touching this. And background color, the same thing. Change that, change that, change this. And with the pattern fill as our choice here, change that, change that, change that. And that's similar colors. Now then with the, let me also show you too the different modes up here and the opacity too. For example, let's go with fill whole section. That way it's going to fill this whole thing up here. I'll just show you. See, just like that. But right now we're in normal and 100% opacity. In other words, it's solid. Let's get out of this and change this to, let's say 50%. Let's go with 30%. So you can see how it changed the opacity. I think I've got some sheets made out of that basic color too. Anyway, drives me crazy. But it changes the opacity or the transparency. So you can adjust this. Now of course it won't make any adjustments once it's already been made until you click on this again. Now another thing too I want to show you. Let's get out of this. Go over here and let's create, and this is our layers dialog box. Let's create another layer. That's fine, don't have to name it. And now we've got a blue layer, and as you can see it's basically like a blue piece of paper covering up our image here because it's on top of the cone and the ice cream drippings. So if we want to adjust the opacity of this as it is, of course we can adjust the layer. We can move it down one, so now the ice cream cone is on top of this blue paper, using that analogy. Let's move it back up. We can change the opacity here. And you've got the similar modes here we can work with. Dissolve, it kind of makes it a little fuzzy and stuff. And so on. So that's one way we can do that too, using the dialogues box. Go ahead and get out of this here. I think that's pretty much it, folks. That's the bucket fill. Again, that's just adding colors to certain sections. And of course you can use the fill or the pattern fill. And I'm going to go over this in a different video as far as how to acquire and create additional patterns for your collection here. Just kind of show you. I think this one's pine, yeah. And yeah, that's my pine box there. Okay, so that's pretty much how we can play around with the different options available in the bucket fill tool. Thank you much for watching. I hope you learned something, and I think you're going to be able to use this quite a bit in your future endeavors. Have a great day, folks.